presentations at 7 a.m. and they're like emailing me. Do I need a PowerPoint? No, just talk to me for 20 minutes.
Sounds good. Just borrow the timer. Be like, you have 3 minutes.
how I
Yeah,
want it.
there you go. Yeah,
Exactly
this
what
thing
I
is
want.
loud, man.
Is it on Zoom? Yes. For the last email.
I love that. Remind email.
Well, we're wrapping up number 40, Council 40.
wonder if they're
41's right around the corner.
Writing good reviews.
Sad we're not ending with like someone putting light on their face or.
Well, you never know.
The
We do have
night
3
is young.
minutes.
Yeah,
The night is
Poster
young.
board in the sewer system.
there's public comment
That.
twice tonight,
Okay,
so
here
you
we
know.
go. Calling to order the Monday, November 17th, 2025 meeting of the 40th Council of the City of Berkeley. Ms. Mitchell, will you please call the roll?
Councilmember Baker.
Here.
Councilmember Black. Here. Mayor Pro Tem Gavin.
Here.
Councilmember Hennan.
Here.
Councilmember Patterson.
Here.
Councilmember Vellani.
Here.
Mayor Dean.
Here. Our first order of business is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilmember Hennan
Support?
with support from Councilmember Vellani. Are there any changes or corrections? Seeing none, Ms. Mitchell, please call the roll.
Excuse me, Ms. Mayor?
Yes?
Wasn't council anticipating moving the communications above closed session?
In, after the swearing in and we, the first
Start
meeting of
the
the
next
41st.
meeting. I'm sorry.
No, that's, thank you.
It's a long night.
Yeah. And I appreciate your eagerness to move things along.
I got this little thing to do first.
Seeing none, Ms. Mitchell, please call the roll.
Black. Yes. Gavin.
Yes.
Hennan.
Yes.
Patterson.
Yes.
Vellani.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Dean.
Yes, the agenda has been approved. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we've now come to the portion of the meeting for public comment. This is the time for items that are not on tonight's agenda. When you come to the microphone, please state your name, city of residence. You will have 3 minutes to tell us what's on your mind and in your heart. Don't everybody rush the microphone at once. Okay, I'm closing public comment. Ms. Mitchell, will you please read the items on tonight's consent agenda?
1, approval of the minutes. Matter of approving the minutes of the 40th regular city council meeting on Monday, October 20th, 2025. 2, proclamation number P2925, matter of recognizing the dedicated service of election inspectors. 3, proclamation number P3025, matter of honoring the dedication and service of city council member Jessica Vellani.
Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilmember Patterson.
Support.
With support from Councilmember Baker. Are there any corrections or additions here? Seeing none, Ms. Mitchell, please call the roll.
Gavin.
Yes.
Hennan.
Yes.
Patterson.
Yes.
Vellani.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Black. Dean.
Yes, the consent agenda has passed. Ms. Mitchell, please read item number 1 on tonight's regular agenda.
Recognitions, presentations, matter of any recognitions or presentations from the consent agenda.
I've asked Councilmember Baker to read P 2925.
Thank you, Your Honor. A proclamation of the Council of the City of Berkeley, Michigan, recognizing the dedicated service of election inspectors. Whereas election inspectors, including precinct workers, many absentee counting board inspectors, supplemental office staff, and receiving board members, play a critical role in maintaining the efficiency, accuracy, and success of the election. And whereas the City of Berkeley election inspectors dedicate their time, knowledge, and commitment to ensuring the integrity and smooth operation of the election. And whereas these individuals attend training classes and uphold the highest standards of accuracy, fairness, and respect, while serving the voters, thereby enhancing public confidence in our election process. And whereas election inspectors in Berkeley work diligently to manage polling locations, assist voters, process absentee ballots, and verify closing paperwork to ensure that all eligible ballots are securely counted and that all required documentation is done accurately. And whereas their contributions are instrumental in fostering trust in our elections and promoting civic engagement within the Berkley community. And whereas on November 4th, 2025, they took on the added responsibility of serving Berkley residents to ensure democracy during a charged political climate while working more than a 15-hour day. Now, therefore, the City of Berkley hereby proclaims, Section 1, it is the intent of the Berkley City Council to formally recognize and extend its heartfelt appreciation to each election inspector, mini absentee counting board inspector, supplemental office staff, and receiving board member for their essential role and unwavering commitment to protecting the integrity of our elections. Proclaim this 17th day of November 2025 at a regular meeting of the Berkley City Council. Signed, Bridget Dean, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
A proclamation of the Council of the City of Berkley, Michigan, honoring the dedication and service of Jessica Villani. Whereas Jessica Villani was elected to the Berkley City Council in November 2021 and has faithfully served the residents of Berkley throughout her 4-year term. And whereas during her tenure, Councilmember Villani brought professionalism, compassion, and a collaborative spirit to her role, contributing to key initiatives, including the implementation of the city's strategic plan and advancing efforts to make Berkley's government and public spaces more inclusive and equitable. And whereas Councilmember Villani served as council liaison to the Berkley Area Chamber of Commerce and the Environmental Advisory Committee, strengthening community engagement and promoting sustainable practices across the city. And whereas Councilmember Villani has announced that she will not seek re-election at the conclusion of her current term, choosing to dedicate more time to her family and her daughter as she prepares for college, a decision that reflects her values of balance, gratitude, and purpose. And now, therefore, the City of Berkley hereby proclaims, the Berkley City Council recognizes and honors Jessica Villani for her service and invaluable contributions. Be it further proclaimed that the City Council and residents of Berkley join together in thanking Councilmember Villani for her commitment to public service and wish her continued success and happiness in all future endeavors. Proclaim the 17th day of November 2025 at a regular meeting of the Berkley City Council.
Yay.
I'm going to yield the floor.
Well, thank you. And thank you for those very kind words there. I'll keep it brief. But first, want to start off by congratulating my colleagues, Steve Baker and Dennis Hennon and Mayor Dean, on your re-elections. We may not have always seen eye to eye on every issue, but I am 100% confident that everyone up here truly wants what is best for our city and is working hard to make sure that happens. I have learned from all of you over the past 4 years, and it really has been an honor to serve alongside you. Gary, congratulations to you as well. You'll soon find that this is not always an easy job and probably takes up a little bit more time and energy than anyone may have told you before. But I hope that you have a chance to learn from and lean in with this group of people up here, while also staying true to your own values and the residents of our city. It is very bittersweet to be up here saying goodbye. Life was very different back in 2021 when I ran. My daughter was only in 7th grade, and her impending graduation wasn't something I thought about at all. Today, she's a junior, and college collateral comes to our house daily, and we're preparing to navigate applications and college tours and next chapters. Additionally, I'm excited to plan a wedding with Andy. And of course, I would be remiss if I left out Bonnie. She was the star of the campaign and is now quite happy in her residency at the library, reading with kids and visiting with patients at Corwell. As much as I truly have loved serving, time is finite, and I cannot prioritize the next chapter of my family while also serving the city in the way that our residents deserve. I want to thank I did look it up to verify, the 2,305 residents that cast a vote for me back in 2021. I didn't have run for office on my bingo card, but I am so glad that I took the leap and am really grateful for everyone's support over the years. I'm especially grateful to those of you that have reached out with kind words of encouragement over the past 4 years. At times, this can feel like a truly thankless job, and those interactions, when they were least expected, were the fuel that kept me going over time. Lastly, I want to give a very special thank you to Sydney and Andy. You were by my side and my greatest supporters from day one of this journey. You knocked doors, delivered signs, and were the best campaign team a gal could ask for. When campaign turned to serving, you were understanding with the constant nights away and endless events. I am so lucky to call you my family and truly could not have done this without your support. I'm looking forward to having more time and more dinners with you, especially on Mondays. So I just want to thank everybody, including all of the amazing staff that keep this city up and running. It is truly an honor to be a part of this. And while I may now be a former council member, I will forever be a cheerleader for our great city.
Thank you.
Did I keep it under 3 minutes?
Great. I didn't even have to pick this up.
Ms. Mitchell, please read item number 2 on tonight's regular agenda.
Swearing in ceremony, newly elected members of the council to be given oaths of office by the city clerk, Mayor Bridget Dean, Councilmember Steve Baker, Councilmember Dennis Hennon, Councilmember Gary Elrod.
Go get him.
Hopefully she
I don't crack my head.
Have you raised your right hand?
Yes.
I, Bridget Dean.
I, Bridget Dean,
Having been duly appointed
having been duly appointed
as mayor of the city of Berkeley,
as mayor of the city of Berkeley,
do hereby solemnly swear
do hereby solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
the Charter and ordinances of the city of Berkeley,
the Charter and ordinances of the city of Berkeley,
and I'll perform the duties of my office
and I'll perform the duties of my office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Past your bedtime.
Watch out for that.
Yeah.
Corey.
Thank you.
Trip hazard.
I was worried about my noggin hazard. Hi.
Hello. Raise your right hand. I, Steve Baker,
I, Steve Baker,
having been duly appointed
having been duly appointed
as council member for the city of Berkeley,
as council member for the city of Berkeley,
do hereby solemnly swear
do hereby solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
the Charter and ordinances of the city of Berkeley,
the Charter and ordinances of the city of Berkeley,
and that I'll perform the duties of my office
and that I'll perform the duties of my office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Yay, all right, thank you.
I, Dennis Hannon,
I, Dennis Hennon,
having been duly appointed
having been duly appointed
as council member for the city of Berkeley,
as council member for the city of Berkeley,
do hereby solemnly swear
do hereby solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
the Charter and ordinances of the city of Berkeley,
the Charter and ordinances of the city of Berkeley,
and perform the duties of my office
and perform the duties of my office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations. I, Gary Elrod,
I, Gary Elrod,
having been duly elected
having been duly elected
as council member for the city of Berkeley,
as council member for the city of Berkeley,
do hereby solemnly swear
do hereby solemnly swear
that I'll support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution of the state of Michigan,
Constitution of the state of Michigan,
the charter and ordinances of the city of Berkeley,
the charter and ordinances of the city of Berkeley,
and that I'll perform the duties of my office
and that I will perform the duties of my office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations to my colleagues here at the table, to Councilmember Elrod and Councilmember Valani. There's just not enough wine, is there?
I'm sure we'll find a way.
We will, we will. Okay, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion
Support.
made by Councilmember Patterson with support from Councilmember Valani. Ms. Mitchell, would you please call the roll?
Hennan,
Yes.
Patterson,
Yes.
Valani,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Black. Yes. Gavin,
Yes.
Dean.
Yes. The Monday, November 17th, 2025 meeting of the 40th Council of the City of Berkeley is adjourned.
End of an era.
of the 41st Council of the City of Berkeley. Ms. Mitchell, will you please call the roll?
Councilmember Baker,
Here.
Councilmember Black. Here. Councilmember Elrod,
Here.
Councilmember Gavin,
Here.
Councilmember Hennan,
Here.
Councilmember Patterson,
Here.
Mayor Dean.
Here. The agenda has been, our first order of business is the approval of the agenda. Is there a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
I move to approve the agenda with the following changes. Add a new item 11 before the closed session. The matter of appointing a mayor pro tem from November 2025 until November 2027, followed by communications, then the closed session.
Ms. Mitchell, do you have that?
I do.
Okay, do I have a second?
Support.
Okay, Mayor Pro Tem Gavin. Ms. Mitchell, please call the roll.
Black. Yes. Elrod,
Yes.
Gavin,
Yes.
Hennan,
Yes.
Patterson,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Dean.
Yes, the agenda has been approved. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We've now come to the public comment portion of tonight's meeting, and this is for items that are not on tonight's agenda. When you come to the microphone, please state your name, city of residence. You will have 3 minutes to tell us what's on your mind and in your heart. Thank you. Okay, seeing no public comment, Ms. Mitchell, will you please read the items on the consent agenda?
1, warrant list, matter for approving warrant list number 1416. 2, motion number M10125, matter of approving the intergovernmental agreement between the City of Berkeley and the City of Huntington Woods for shared resources and services. 3, motion number M10225, matter of approving the intergovernmental agreement between the City of Berkeley and the Berkeley School District for shared resources and services. 4, motion number M10325, matter of approving a budgeted purchase for upfitting the recently purchased Ford F-250 to Truck and Trailer Specialties of Howell, Michigan, in the amount of $13,360, utilizing account 592-536-985-000. This purchase also utilizes the BidNet Rochester Hills Cooperative Bid. 5, motion number M10425, matter of authorizing the city manager to sign the application for additional service credit purchase for Stanislaw Lisica, approving 24 months of additional service credit. This purchase is allowed by the Merit System Schedule and the MERS Plan document for active members. The total cost calculated by MERS included on the application for additional service credit is $34,652. The City of Berkeley's share of that cost is $26,593.81. 6, motion number M10525, matter of approving the proposal from Vertrano Consulting for the performance evaluation facilitation for the city manager and authorizing Mayor Dean to sign the notice to proceed. 7, motion number M10625, matter of authorizing the city manager to execute a contract for senior home chore snow removal service from Luxury Lawn and Snow, 28240 Farmington Road, Farmington Hills, Michigan, 48334, for the 2025-26 winter season. This is a budgeted item that will be paid for using community development block grant funding. 8, ordinance number 0925, matter of approving the second reading and adoption of an ordinance of the City Council of the City of Berkeley, Michigan to amend section 114-27, authorization and establishment of workforce housing exemption of Article 3, workforce housing pilot of Chapter 114, taxation of the City of Berkeley Code of Ordinances to clarify that annual shelter rent payments less than 10% are permitted as authorized by provisions of the State Housing Development Authority Act of 1966, Public Act 346 of 1966, MCL 125.1401 at SEEK.
Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Motion made by Mayor Pro Tem Gavin
Support?
with support from Councilmember Hennan. Any changes or additions there? Ms. Mitchell, please call the roll.
Elrod,
Yes.
Gavin,
Yes.
Hennan,
Yes.
Patterson,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Black. Dean.
Yes, the consent agenda has passed. Ms. Mitchell, please read item number 1 on tonight's regular agenda.
Recognitions, presentations, matter of receiving any recognitions or presentations from the consent agenda.
Seeing none, Ms. Mitchell, please read item number 2.
Presentation, matter of receiving a presentation by the American Legion.
Ms. Van Vleck? Or are we just going right to, nice to see you, Jack.
I'm here in a different capacity tonight. In October, I was contacted by Lieutenant Kobernick from the Public Safety about assisting at a fundraising activity to buy a large flag that could be displayed from our ladder truck at city events. And so I took this back to the Legion, and when I brought it up at the executive board, I received overwhelming support from everyone in the Legion family. So tonight, we're here to make a presentation from the American Legion family to public safety. And I want to explain to you who the American Legion family is, because we have with us tonight Ike Eisenhower, who is the commander of the Legion, Dale Heidland, who is the commander of the Sons of the American Legion. We have Jim Pierce, who is the commander of the Royal Canadian Legion, who meets with us and has been a great asset to us. So through all their efforts, we have raised $1,400 for the public safety to purchase a 20 by 30 American flag.
It's incredible.
Turn over to Ike and Jordan right now. Come on, Jordan, you get up here. He's shy, you know. He doesn't.
Yeah.
Madam Mayor, City Council members, my name is Bill Eisenhower, and I do have the privilege of being the commander of your American Legion Post 374. As Jack said when he approached us with Jordan's request, could we help? We pulled the board and said, no, we'll pick up the entire pot. So in recognition of the service and the honor that your police department gives to your city, I'm happy to present this check for $1,400 so that you can buy that big flag and hang it when it looks good. Jordan?
Just real quickly, anything we ask from the Legion, they're there for us. And this was just kind of at a whim, a phone call, and that's a relationship we have with a lot of people in the city. I think that's what makes the city great, is we really can turn to outside counsel, outside budget stuff to really, if something comes up, so.
Thank you. I'm not surprised when you said that the Legion was gave overwhelming support. It truly is. I'm a member of the auxiliary, and I just know this is what I love about our Legion. You are all very service-oriented. The community reaches out. You reach out to the community. You've done work with, so many things, but even the Berkley Cares Community Food Pantry, so within the community, and I am grateful that you are here in Berkeley and you lead with that compassion and with that mind of service. And so this is just yet another way that you cooperate and support and understand the values of not only our city, but our public safety department and the Legion itself. So thank you so much for being part of that partnership. Thank you. And I'm sorry, anyone else from, I just kind of hogged the whole thing. So.
Well said. Thank you.
Yeah, amen.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Mitchell, please read item number 3 on tonight's regular agenda.
Presentation, matter of receiving a presentation of the fiscal year 2025 audit by the Finance Department.
Ms. Van Vleck.
I invite Carl Johnson to the podium. He'll be here for quite a bit tonight. He's going to start, I'm pleased to say that we've completed the audit pretty early this year. And so Carl's going to start with a presentation, and then he's going to hand it over to AHPA, which I think is Greg Soul. and they will both give a presentation on the report itself.
Thank you.
So first off, I just need to apologize because I'm going to monopolize the rest of the evening just for the next 9 items.
It's the Carl show.
Yeah,
We got it.
exactly. And you know I love every minute of it, and Crystal cut my presentation down from 4 hours to 4 minutes. So I will do my best. As you know, it's audit time, and the byproduct of the audit is this wonderful 109-page document, all of which is our responsibility as the city. And then we turn it over to the auditors who give an opinion on the accuracy and the proper disclosures, and as well as they test our internal controls and report back to you as their boss as far as are we following our internal controls, recommendations, et cetera. So that's what the auditors will touch on next. But first, I'm going to touch on our actual financial results. And like in prior years, I know you all love this, and it was electronic in your packet, but I know you don't want me to go through every page, even though I'd just love to. So what I've done is put together about 5 or 6 pages in the presentation you see up there. It's not in your packet. Just to go over at a very high level how we ended up this last fiscal year. So if you could skim down to the bottom of that. Well,
Can you?
yes, that's perfect.
Sorry, is there any way to make it just a little bit bigger?
Or even a lot bit bigger.
I will try. I don't know how much bigger we can make it and have it all show.
We can follow along, though. This is page 69.
Yes.
in here.
Oh,
Yep.
Oh, it is in the book.
Yes.
Yes, these are actual
He
pages
took
out of the
pages
wonderful.
from the
Oh,
to kind of
okay.
highlight. So we could try to follow, like, say which page.
Thank
we
on
could
each
try.
document.
Yes, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, so if you look at the bottom right there, perfect. This is the budget comparison for our general fund, our general operating fund. So this is the fund that outside of water and sewer, we pay most attention to. Yeah, it's where all of our general operations are: public safety, finance, city manager, mayor and council, all those departments are in there. So the very first column there represents our original budget that we passed. And you can see there the third line from the bottom says we passed our original budget where revenues equaled expenditures. And then our final amended budget shows we were going to dip into fund balance by the 500,000, heck's getting old, I gotta get my readers out, sorry, by $562,000. So during the year, we amended the budget to use fund balance. So what was that? That was the rollover budget. If you recall, we do that every single year. Those are budgeted items from the previous year, such as equipment and vehicles and significant contracts like our HVAC, where we had commitments, but we didn't incur the cost until the current fiscal year. So that's why it's there. So our fund balance to start the year was better than anticipated, and then we roll that in because we know ultimately we have to spend that. So that's what that represents. So that's exactly as planned. So, oh my gosh, we used fund balance. No, that's exactly as planned. You know, it's just a timing thing. And there's nothing wrong with using our fund balance as well. So then we get into our actual results there. So if you look at that, what we thought we were going to do is dip into fund balance by 562, the amount of that rollover. We actually ended the year 668,000 to the good, increased fund balance by 668. So a favorable variance of $1.2 million. Holy smokes, we're rich. We could just go buy anything we want. No, I'll get into some of the details on that. But that's truly not the case. But again, it's great results. We ended the year better than we thought. And even with some of the one-timers that I'm going to show you in the next slide, we still had a very good year financially. A couple items there. The highlighted is we ended the year over in revenues, under in expenditures, and say ultimately 1.2 million to the good. One thing before I leave here, you can see there's a transfers of $1.3 million in there. We had budgeted transfers in the current year of about $700,000 or $800,000 to go to the Parks and Rec Fund, as well as we passed an amendment during the year to make a new contribution to our Public Improvement Capital Fund. Our results in the Parks and Rec Fund were better than anticipated, and our subsidy from the general fund to the Parks and Rec Fund was lower than we ultimately anticipated by several $100,000. So what we were able to do is take that $700,000 that we had budgeted to transfer to them and transfer it to our public improvement fund. So increasing that by about $500,000. And as you know, our whole goal currently with the Public Improvement Fund is to fund the fire truck that is coming, whether we have the money or not. So we better darn well have the money. So, but that, again, is great news. We were right on budget. That's why there's no variance there, because we just took the budgeted transfer that was there and just transferred it to another place, which is allowable. So last, before I leave this, every single department there you can see there has a favorable variance. The Budget Act, State Budget Act says you cannot be $1 over budget, and you can see there every single department there came in under budget, which is exactly what we want them to do. So kudos to our team, and again, very good financial results. So what the heck? The next page here. What the heck? So we ended 1.2 million better than we thought. So what's that made up of? The variance there is about 300,000 in revenue. And the variance in revenue.
Excuse me, Carl, which page is?
This is the same page we just had, but this one's mine. Sorry there.
Okay.
So from that page, I'm summarizing what makes up the key pieces there.
Okay.
Okay. So sorry, I'll have to one off page. All right. So don't look at this one. All the rest of them are pretty much in there. So you can see there the summary of what happened is 300,000 favorable variance in revenues, 800,000 favorable variance in expenditures. The net result there is about $1.2 million. So on the revenue side, what makes up that 300,000? 150,000 of it was license and permits. So our building activity generated by the Community Development Department we had more activity than planned, more activity than previous year, better than budget. Hard to anticipate that because, as we know, it's seasonal. So we have a strong fall into winter, then there's no development whatsoever, and then it picks up again in the spring. So most of the favorable variance happened in that last quarter, therefore harder to amend the budget at the last minute because most of it took place during April, May, and June when the fiscal year was almost over. And then the other part of that was 180,000 related to the HVAC grant. We received that in fiscal 24, and the 180,000 rolled over as we finished the project up in the current year. So the expense rolled over as well as this is the revenue related to it. So absent those two items, all other revenues net to $12,000. So again, the budgets were pretty much right on except for those two items. But net, good results of $300,000. And again, I view the building permit revenue as a one-timer. You can't anticipate having that amount of development each and every year. We budget conservatively there, and to the extent we have favorable results, we amend it during the year. And again, that's a one-time HVAC grant. So again, favorable things, but one-timers. Then we get into the expenditures there. So overall, it was about a 5% under budget on the expenditure side. What the heck? That finance guy can't budget very well. He's too much fluff in there. But when you dig into the details, the reality is we had $422,000 worth of rollovers. Again, items that were budgeted in last year that we had commitments for that ultimately are going to be spent in the current year. You've already passed the rollover budget amendment on September 8th. Amending our budget from a zero to using that money, the $422,000. So that's part of it there. And then surprisingly, our health care for our retirees, again, as you know, we're self-insured, came in under budget of almost $200,000. So not our actives, it's our retirees, and that's strictly based on utilization. So how sick are people? How much do they go to the doctors, et cetera? So for the year, not on the active side, on the retiree side, we had a favorable variance of $198,000. So a very good result compared to our previous year. And then all other departments were under budget, a cumulative total of $250,000. Again, 1.5%. So we have a $15 million budget. And all other departments, the total that we were under budget was $250,000. Because what we try to do is really keep the budgets realistic. I don't want to say tight because you don't want to be $1 over, we get written up, but we want them realistic. And but the general rule is 1% to 2%, you're there. If you have $1 million, to put it in perspective, if you have $1 million expenditure department, 1% is $10,000 under budget. So to be that tight on a budget of that size, it really is, again, kudos to the team. And it's definitely not absorbent or, we're not padding the budgets by any means. So again, it's great results and a lot of one-timers. So again, you can't anticipate retiree healthcare having another great year, you know, you just can't budget for that. But when it happens, it happens. So, all right. Next slide, which is page 16. I just highlighted this one, and it's funny, Councilman Baker was talking about coloring these, and when I see all my highlights, I was like, yeah, this is my chance to color
there,
these too.
yeah.
So just skim down a little bit there. I just wanted to highlight that while we live within our means, and while we had a good year, and while we had favorable variance, we still do not have a lot of money for capital. So the highlighted amount I have there, that $2 million for capital, 1.7 million of that is the HVAC system. So if you think about it, all the other departments in the city, again, in the general fund, the general operating fund, there was only about $300,000 to $400,000 for capital. Not a lot when you're talking about a $16 million budget. And that's truly where we're struggling, is reinvesting in our facilities, reinvesting in our equipment. So we budget what we can, we budget the surplus, our fund balance at our targeted level, but there really isn't a whole lot for capital. Outside the HVAC, you know, you're only talking about a few $100,000. And the need is obviously much, much greater than what we have there. So just want to make sure I pointed that out to you. The next slide is page 18. So the first thing on here is our water and sewer fund. And if you recall, was it 2 years ago now, our water and sewer fund cash balance was negative $1 million. It was zero, and we actually had a loan from the general fund of $1 million at June of 2023. And so ultimately, and that was when I first got here, I was like, welcome, Carl, here you go. But ultimately, we said, well, we can't do that, because that's all the money in the world that we have. And as we know, just a single water main break, a sinkhole, or any of those kind of things can cost millions and millions of dollars. And so to be at that level of cash reserves is just not wise. You're asking for trouble. So what we did is immediately finished up the lead line projects that we were working on, all the road projects we were working on, finished all those up. And then the 2025 fiscal year, the year we just ended, we basically paused all of those things, and we're restarting in the current fiscal year, the year we're in right now. So you'll see our water and sewer cash balance at the end of last year was 1.8, almost $1.9 million. And so again, that gets you back to at least a reasonable amount where if something happened, we'd have some funds available to address them. So that is really key. And then that's, you know, exactly what we wanted to do, and that's exactly how it ended up. You'll also see in a couple of future slides, and again, that's slightly better than what our budget was that passed for the current fiscal year. You'll see that our major streets, our local street, our infrastructure fund, all of those, again, paused. All of those are related to the lead lines and the road replacements. The pause there, all of those, again, ended better than we thought in our budget, and I'll highlight those real quick coming up here on another slide. But all in all, this was exactly according to plan, exactly where we want to be in, and we're in good shape as we start to tackle the $7 or $8 million Bacon project very quickly here, the next significant project that we have. All right, the next page is 74. Oh, before I leave that last one, right next to the water and sewer fund is COM 1.
Yes.
So that's one of our 3 new funds that were created this year.
Right.
And if you recall, we invested, or we borrowed about $180,000 from the general fund, the general operating fund, to do the capital improvements to the field, and we have a 5-year lease agreement with the 2 entities. Mm-hmm. And so this is that fund. You can see there in our capital assets, we have $180,000 capitalized, as well as the cash balance in there to maintain the fields as we're going along as they make their annual payments over the next 5 years. So that's what that is. It's an enterprise fund, so it's meant to be self-supporting. So the amount that we spend in there, the lease revenue that we're going to collect over the next 5 years is meant to offset the cost there. There should be no subsidies from any of the other funds. All right, page 74. So on this one here, you can see there the first column, major streets, local streets, first 2 columns there, and then infrastructures, a few more columns down there. It's the third from the end. Those are our restricted funds. So the major and local streets are the money we get from the state for the gas and weight tax. And as we know, in the current fiscal year, there's some significant changes to the funding scope, but our sources and uses. There should be significant increases going forward, but we'll get to that in another meeting. again, good news on that front. But yeah, on those two, if you just skim down a little bit further there, Caitlin. So the highlighted areas there, if you look at our budget document, all three of those funds are better off by probably to the tune of $200,000 to $300,000 more. And so what that means is as we get into our budget session, and yes, we're actually talking about budget for the next fiscal year already, those excess funds will be rebudgeted and reprogrammed into the projects that are upcoming. So it's part of our 6-year capital plan, and so any favorable variance in these areas just goes to offset and goes towards future projects. So those are great. The next two highlighted funds, the parking fund as well as the opioid fund. So again, two brand new funds. The parking fund is the new fees collected for, I believe it's the overnight parking that are going to be used for parking lot purchases, maintenance, renovation, et cetera. So we collected a little more than $9,000 last year. Again, sitting in this fund, restricted for that use, and that's what we're using that for. And then the opioid fund, again, been collecting opioid settlement money for the past 2 or 3 years. It's very restricted in what it can be used on. Ultimately, it's significant enough where it doesn't belong in the general fund. It's been sitting in the general fund, so want to make sure we get that out of there because, again, you don't want to be thinking you have this amount of fund balance when actually 50,000 of it is opioid that you can't use and, et cetera. So it's easier just to throw it in its own fund. And our public safety department's working on a program to utilize these funds. Lastly, the sidewalk fund, the one I have highlighted there. As you know, we've been on a hiatus with sidewalks. I know everybody loved that part, but unfortunately, we have to maintain them. It's a liability issue. So those programs will be coming soon. We're looking into the ordinances related to those as well as the actual program itself and how it will be implemented. So those will be coming to you in the near future. But at the end of last year, we finished up that program, and again, we're ready for the next round. So. All right. Lastly, just the three quick ones. Everybody talks about, the funding of our pensions, the funding of our OPEB. Sorry, too many acronyms. So this is page 66, 64, and 62 are the next three. So just want to touch on our funding levels. So this is OPEB. OPEB is other post-employment benefits, i.e. retiree health care and any other retiree insurances that we provide. So if you could skim down just a little bit on that one. So the issue with these is the state has come out with minimum funding levels. So for OPEB, it's 40%, and for pensions, it's 60%. So if you're below those, you have to file an annual report that says how you're going to get to at least those minimum levels over the next 30 years. So it's not too hard to get there, but you're required to fill out the forms. So this one's OPEB. The crazy thing with these things, if you look at that, so that very first highlighted one in 2025, that 14 million, that is the estimated liability from our actuaries as far as we sit here today, how much we owe to our existing retirees and those who can in fact retire. If you look back 8 years, that number was 19 million. So we've actually done fairly well with this. So that's healthcare costs, that's the number of retirees that are out there, that's closing the plan and those kinds of things. So this, unlike your pensions, our liability has dropped $5 million, and the subtotal below it is our assets that we have set aside went from about $5 million to $8.8 million. So our funding level there is just about 60%, which again is well above the 40% minimum and climbing. You see there we were at 26% 8 years ago. So definitely going in the right direction here with OPEB. Now the pensions. So the next one on page 64 is the MERS pension system. So this is everybody but public safety. Again, you can see there the highlighted is about $25.4 million is the estimated liability that we would owe our pensioners if they live as long as they're supposed to and they make as much as they're supposed to. That's how much we would have to come up with. We've got $14 million set aside, and so there's an $11 million unfunded amount. And our funding level there is only at 56%. So again, that 60% bogey with the state, we are not there. We have to file an annual report with the state. The scary thing is, if you look back 10 years ago, our funding level there is 55%. So this has gone a whole lot of nowhere, even though our contribution has more than doubled. You see there 10 years ago, our city's contribution was $546,000. It was $1.2 million last year. and continuing to climb. So that annual increase to get the funding level up there will be part of our operating budget as it's presented before you. Again, we're on track. We're contributing what the actuaries tell us, but I do not anticipate hitting that 60% for at least 4, 5, 6, 7 more years. Again, it depends on market. It depends on a lot of different things. But the current trend is that we're still years away from getting there. But on track with our deficit plan that we have to file, not deficit, our funding plan that we have to file with the state, and all of those kind of things. So, all right. And the sad thing is with this, a year ago in 2023, if you recall, the state was handing out ARPA money. There's $1.2 million of pension money that got dumped into MERS on our behalf, and you can see our funding level went from 56.2 to 56.5 over that last year. So while it helped, it certainly didn't, get us to the 60%, which was the goal of that contribution. Lastly, the public safety pension. So this is our property tax levy that we levy to fund this, our 345 levy. You see there the liability is much more substantial. It's $33.4 million. We have 23.7 set aside an unfunded liability of 9.6. But you can see this one here, we're actually at 71% funded. Again, part of it is, you look back 10 years, our annual contribution was $660,000. This past year was $1.8 million. So more than tripled. And again, that's in a direct relation to how much gets levied on an annual basis for the property taxes. So again, in the right direction there. Ultimately, the goal is 100%, but these are so hard to get up there. Again, we're still $10 million shy. So, all right. Lastly, just a non-audit report page, just kind of a summary here. So, believe it or not, I'm just coming up on 2 years here. So this was the first full year of doing this. We finally got a new team, and of course, my deputy's last day is tomorrow. So while we had a great year and we got caught up and did a lot of good things, this was really our first full year, and we were able to tackle a lot of things. So along those things, if you remember last year's audit report, we had 7 findings from the auditors. Half of them were like policies and procedures related. The other half were, I think 2 or 3 were bank rec related, and 1 was regarding HR type forms that were not attached. So every single one of those you'll see in the audit report are gone. They've all been addressed. Amy, our deputy, did an outstanding job. She is the policy queen. She ripped all those things off, and literally there must be a dozen or more of policies and procedures in finance that she revised and revamped and improved, and the auditors were very impressed with that. So got rid of all of those. There's one finding this year, which I tried to be perfect. I told you we would do it. So when we updated the bank rec narrative, policies and procedures, one of the items there was they will be performed, they will be done timely, blah, 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 and they will be signed, reviewed, and dated so that the auditors could test that. So our new policy we rolled out in May of last year. So I put it all together. I signed off. The deputy reviewed it. She signed off. I forgot to put a blank that said date. So I didn't sign those. And so when the auditors tested our policy, that said, you said you're going to sign it and date it. They couldn't tell if it was done timely because we didn't date it. So that's what our finding is this year. Immediately when I found out about this, there's a date sign, and they all would sign. I'm like, give me those bank recs. I'll sign them. I'll put a date on them. But they weren't dated, and that's what they're reporting back to you. And again, the auditors are coming up next to let you know that. But again, as promised last year, to the extent we have an issue, they do findings on us. That's our number one goal, is to make them go away and address those and strive for a perfect audit per se. So that was the new finding. And again, I touched on this before, that while we are in very good financial condition, where our fund balance is at our target level per se, the unfunded mandates of lead lines and the infrastructure and even our facilities, there's just no money for those. Mm-hmm. There truly is no money for those. And that's one of the biggest hurdles in the next 5 years is developing a plan for that. And we've had numerous discussions on that, but obviously it's something we have to look at and come up with a strategy on. So outside of that, that's the numbers piece. That's my piece. If there's any questions on that one before I turn it over to the auditors.
Councilmember Hennon.
Yeah. First, I think you made a misstatement. I just want to make sure. You were talking about bank reconciliations, and you said a couple of them that you didn't sign them. I think you meant you didn't
Date them, yes.
Yeah, so we did all the bank reconciliations, we just missed dating, to putting the date on two of them.
Exactly. Yeah, because our new policy kicked in at the end of the year. We rewrote them and, rolled those out at the end of the year. But it said they will be reviewed, they will be signed, they will be dated. They were signed and completed, but not dated.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and-
thanks for that correction.
Yeah, and then just on the pensions, it's always a moving target. Correct me if I'm wrong, always a moving target since the actuarials, they review and they sort of move where we have to, how much we have to put aside for each individual as people are living longer and longer.
Very true, yes. Like I say, actuaries are weathermen. They don't ever have to be right, and they never are. And it's always a negative impact on us for the most part. So, yeah, that's why that 10-year trend is actually very interesting, because like MERS, we've closed the MERS plan down, for a lot of things. So that should freeze your liability, right? No, it went up $8 million already, when there's no new people going into it, et cetera. So that just says we didn't get our investment results right, or people are living longer, or, who knows? They have a million assumptions, and again, they don't get them right very often. So.
All right, thank you.
They're not behind me, are they? So just making sure. It's just the auditors. We're good.
Any other comments or questions from council? Councilmember Black, anything?
No, I will say with regard to Carl and his team, just thinking about where we were when he got here to where we are now, I think it's a testament to his leadership and the importance of process, but more importantly, the importance on leadership and teamwork. So I love where you all are, and every year we do this that I've been around, I just feel like it gets better and better. So congratulations on another good audit, and continue to move forward with your team.
Thank you. I also wanted to mention the last audit, you said there were a number of things that were identified and some were processed. If I'm remembering correctly, those had been self-identified and had already been, you had started working on those things prior to the auditor coming in and saying this and this and this.
Yes, you're exactly right. Because again, I didn't start till January of that year. So it was catching us up, identifying the issues, and then, like I say, immediately doing those. And then the auditor showed up, 9 months later, they were here to actually do the audit.
Yes.
Yeah, so it was in process, and this is, that's why that first bullet of first full year, we were able to accomplish it and get it all up.
Great. Well, thank you for your diligence and your hard work on these things, Carl. And hopefully we'll get that deputy position filled soon, and we'll just keep rolling along.
Exactly.
Thank you.
Exactly. Thank you.
Ms. Mitchell, please read item number 4 on tonight's regular agenda.
Presentation, matter of receiving a presentation of the fiscal year 2025 audit by the auditors.
Ms. Van Vleck?
I'm going to invite Greg Soul, and I apologize, I don't know the other associate here.
Justin Combs.
And Justin Comis.
Good evening. My name is Greg Soul. I'm the partner in charge of the city's audit. I'm joined this evening by audit senior Justin Comis, and we're going to talk through the audit results. I'll start out my my comments this evening by echoing everything that Carl said, as well as the comments by Councilmember Black. Both were on point. This was a much smoother audit this year. Second year audits always are smoother. This is the second year of our appointment, but also all of the work that the finance team has done throughout the year in terms of process improvement and all these sorts of things that Carl described are contributing to that as well. I'd also like to thank the finance department, both Finance Director Carl Johnson as well as the deputy, Amy Zarowski, both made our process very easy and very smooth throughout our entire audit. I'll only touch on a couple things. If we turn a few pages into the textbook, if you will, past the organizational chart to the independent auditor's report. This is our report on the city's financial statements, on the annual comprehensive financial report, and it is a clean or an unmodified opinion. So throughout the document, it talks about our opinion. That's the first section, and the basis for our opinion, the standards that we use to conduct our audit. It also talks about the responsibilities for management for preparing the financial statements and our responsibilities as the city's auditor for the audit of the financial statements. We take a risk-based approach to the audit, and we look at those risks and we look at controls as part of our process, and that's laid out on page 2 there of the book. There's also some sections on required supplementary information, things like pension and OPEB schedules, as well as other supplementary information such as the non-major fund combining statements and other information within the Act for the Annual Comprehensive Financial Report. Finally, that report wraps up on page 3 by talking about other reporting required under the government auditing standards, and that document is going to be discussed by Justin in his section. So that's our overall opinion. Again, it is a clean or an unmodified opinion based on our procedures. The numbers represent the underlying activity for the city. If we turn way to the back, essentially what would be page 110, that is our required communications letter to the City Council. And I'll talk through those required auditor communications next. So under audit services, we've completed the financial statement audit. The single audit or the federal expenditures audit is in process. I'll talk about that in a minute. We've completed drafting the financial statements and helping management in that process, and also working through the preparation of the auditing procedures report, which we'll file. Our scope letter and initial communications letter described some significant risks of material misstatement facing the city. We audited each of those risks throughout our process and didn't note anything that was required to be communicated to the council. On the top of page 2 of this document, talks about the uniform grant guidance or the single audit for federal expenditures related to the HVAC project. There's some federal dollars involved in that. That's triggering a single audit for the city. As part of that single audit, we use a document published by the federal government called the Compliance Supplement. And we can't complete the single audit at this point because the Compliance Supplement is not done yet. So the Compliance Supplement's published every year. It's effective for audits of years ending June 30th and after for that following year. So the city's fiscal year end is June 30th. Typically, that document is finalized in May, and it's not finalized yet. So no real indications as to when it's going to be finalized. There were some changes in the uniform grant guidance and some significant shifts on the federal side of the equation, so that's all delaying the issuance of the Compliance Supplement. There's some information there around cybersecurity and IT controls, and then this document gets into adopted accounting standards. There were 2 this year for the city. One is related to GASB 101, compensated absences, talking about how the city calculates its accrued vacation and sick liability. That did have a significant impact in bringing in some additional liabilities related to that and counting for additional leave that wasn't previously counted under the old standards, if you will. So that has been incorporated into the city's financial statements this year. 102 is related to certain risk disclosures about concentrations or constraints. That did not affect the city's financial statements this year. So that's just some things that if the city faces those, that are going to be some required disclosures potentially in the future. On the future side of the equation, GASB 103 will affect next year's financial statements, and it'll change some information around how the MD&A is reported as well as the budget to actual. It'll add some additional columns to those back schedules that Carl went through earlier, so that will affect next year's financial statements. And then GASB 104 could affect next year's financial statements related to certain capital asset disclosures. Our responsibility under the auditing standards is the next section of the report. That talks about our responsibility to express an opinion. It also talks about our responsibilities for testing internal control. No items came to our attention that affected the plan, scope, and timing. As we move into page 5, there are some significant and sensitive estimates related to fixed assets, estimate of net pension liabilities, and the estimate of the OPEB liabilities that Carl went through. All of those estimates are significant to the city's financial statements, so we do just mention them there. And there are some sensitive disclosures in the financial statements related to deposits and investments, long-term debt, capital assets, and OPEB. We had no difficulties encountered in performing the audit. There were some immaterial adjustments that were not reflected in the statements. Those aren't significant. Those aren't material to the overall city, but we do call them out there. We had no disagreements with management. We have requested a standard management rep letter that is included at the back of this document, so you can see what the management team here signs off on. To our knowledge, there were no consultations with other independent accountants. There were no major issues discussed prior to our retention, and there's some information there on our procedures around the required and other supplementary information. No fees for non-audit services. If there are those, we do have to communicate that. There were none, so that's good. And we do have a management letter that Carl indicated that Justin will talk through in a second here related to the government auditing standards communication. As Carl said, all of the findings that we identified last year, those 7 items we talked through, those have been cleared. We verified that during our process. We did identify 1 item this year. But overall, the audit process went much smoother. We wrapped up the engagement 6 weeks earlier than last year, so that's always a good thing. And I really want to thank the team here at the city in that process. With that, I'll turn it over to Justin to briefly talk through the internal control.
Thanks, Greg. So the city's audit is conducted under government auditing standards, and with an audit conducted under government auditing standards, it requires us to do certain tests and procedures that wouldn't normally be required under a typical audit, such as compliance testing. So I'd like to focus on the 2 excerpts followed under report on internal control over financial reporting.
This is the last document.
Yes, sorry about that. In planning and performing our audit of the financial statements, we considered the city's internal control over financial reporting as a basis for designing our audit procedures that are appropriate in the circumstances for the purpose of expressing our opinions on the city's financial statements, but not for the purpose of expressing an opinion on the effectiveness of the city's internal control. Accordingly, we do not express an opinion on the city's effectiveness of internal control. And then I want to focus on the definitions in the section below. A deficiency in internal control exists when the design or operation of a control does not allow management or employees in the normal course of performing their assigned functions to prevent or detect and correct misstatements on a timely basis. A material weakness is a deficiency or combination of deficiencies in internal control such that there is a reasonable possibility that a material misstatement of the entity's financial statements will not be prevented or detected and corrected on a timely basis. And a significant deficiency is a deficiency or combination of deficiencies in internal control that are less severe than a material weakness, yet important enough to merit attention to those charged with governance. So, as Carl had previously mentioned, there were a number of internal control matters communicated during the prior year audit. None of these issues recurred during the prior year. However, we did note one matter that we deemed a significant deficiency as part of the 25 audit that Carl had previously mentioned related to the city's bank reconciliation process. As Carl had previously noted, the city policy indicated that the reconciliation should be signed and dated timely after review, and it was not. Timely and bank reconciliations are an important piece of city's operations in order to make informed financial decisions. As such, we recommended that the city make sure they follow their policy and also date the reconciliation upon completion of review. Thank you.
So it all comes down to timeliness. The city's policies stipulate that the bank recs have to be prepared timely. The state of Michigan requirements also stipulate that it have to be prepared timely, so that's really what it comes down to. We couldn't make that conclusion, so just making sure you get those dates going forward.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Questions from council?
Just the only deficiency has been corrected then. Is that true?
What,
The date has already been corrected, so.
to my understanding, yes.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for your report.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Mitchell, please read item number 5 on tonight's regular agenda.
Motion number M10725, matter of accepting the quarter ended September 30th, 2025 budget to actual report.
Is there a motion to approve M 10725?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilmember Henna with support from Councilmember Patterson. Mr. Johnson.
Mr. Johnson, please.
I didn't know if you want to talk about it or not. So, way too much finance. Love it. So again, this is the first quarter budget to actual report. All 60 pages. the reality is in the first quarter, most of the activity is all of last year's bills coming in and getting them recorded and wrapping all that stuff up, and we're as busy as can be. And so there's not a whole lot of activity there. So there's not a lot of variances that you can see there. The next item is our budget, the budget amendment, the proposed budget amendment. So really the key, there's 2 or 3 key items which I'll touch on next. But outside of that, through the first quarter, as customary, we seem to be right on track with everything. A lot of things are under budget per se because again, you're just getting going in the new fiscal year, and those bills are all rolling in. You know, everybody's too busy doing the work, and then the bills tend to be rolling in afterwards. So nothing really to highlight. Again, the 2 or 3 items that need to be highlighted are on the next agenda item as far as amending the budget to address those. So happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Questions or comments from council? Any public comment? Oh, sorry, did you have?
No.
Any public comment on this agenda item? Seeing none, Ms. Mitchell, please call the roll on M 10725.
Gavin,
Yes.
Hennan,
Yes.
Patterson,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Black,
Yes.
Elrod,
Yes.
Dean.
Yes, the motion has passed. Ms. Mitchell, please read item number 6 on tonight's regular agenda.
Motion number M10825, matter of accepting the quarter ended September 30th, 2025 investment report.
Is there a motion to approve M 10825?
So moved.
Oh boy, motion made by
Support.
Councilmember Baker with support from Mayor Pro Tem Gavin. Mr. Johnson?
So, as promised, when you pass the amendments to the investment policy, this is the first of many, many, many forever and ever and ever quarterly reports on our investments. So again, this is a transparency tool. It's a, hey, what's that guy who talks fast investing our money in? What's it look like? Et cetera. So you can see there attached, it's simple. It's just kind of states what our investments are. And as we talked through the investment policy amendments, the plan was to get us more diversified into more investments, a better portfolio per se. And when you look at the attached investment here, the majority of our money is just sitting in a savings account at our primary bank. We had about $25 million in total of cash, and $23 million was sitting in a savings account because again, the policy hadn't been amended, and you know it really was in need of improvement. So, some common questions about this: hey, can we diversify it so that we can take advantage of the $250,000 FDIC insurance? The answer is yes, but heck no, we can't. So if you think about it, we have $25 million here, and if we're insured $250,000, I would have to be in 100 different banks to order to get it there. The goal is, of course, security and diversity and that kind of stuff. And so as you purchase investments like CDs over here and commercial paper over here, I think that helps accomplish some of that. But I had a former client that had $120 million worth of cash that they were investing, you know, so you do your best. And that's part of why this comes before you, is to say, hey, you know, I think we're too risky, or I think we're, you know, not that you're all investment experts, but hey, this is the types of stuff we're in. You know, like your first thing should be, why do we have $23 million in a savings account? You know, can't we do a little better than that? You know, and again, that's the purpose of this. So this is in report number 1. I haven't touched anything with the new investment policy that was just passed. Your next one will look 100% different than this. So that's the summary.
Any questions or comments from council? Okay. Any public comment on this agenda item? Seeing none, Ms. Mitchell, please call the roll on M 10825.
Hennan,
Yes.
Patterson,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Black, Elrod,
Yes.
Gavin,
Yes.
Dean.
Yes, the motion has passed. Ms. Mitchell, please
Yes.
read item number.
Sorry.
Thank you. Please read item number 7 on tonight's regular agenda.
Motion number M10925, matter of authorizing the amendment 2026-2 of the 2025-26 budget as presented.
Is there a motion to approve M 10925?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilmember Hennan
Support?
with support from Councilmember Elrod. Mr. Johnson?
So again, this says amendment number 2. So if you recall, amendment 1 was the rollover budget amendment that was passed in September. So this is the first amendment related to the quarter. And that quarterly report you saw 2 items ago, these are the items that stuck out to me. So first and foremost, remember that our budget is a tool. The Budget Act passed by the state of Michigan says you will pass a budget and you will amend it as frequently as you need to address the facts and circumstances that are presented, so that you can use it as a tool to get your ultimate result that you're looking for. That's what it's for. It doesn't address unrealized revenues or unrealized expenses or anything along those lines. It is where do we think we're going to be June 30 of next year on the revenue side and the expenditure side. That's what this is supposed to represent. So when I went through the first quarter for the general fund, there's 3 significant items that kind of stuck out there. The defined benefit pension contribution, when we passed our budget last year, we didn't have the actual report. We got it in April. Our budget was basically done at that point, and our contribution went from like $1.4 million to $1.8 million. And so that's what this represents there, is bumping up to what our actual report says. In addition to that, our street lighting, DTE, those guys, I'll tell you, they reduce our fees for getting LEDs, and eventually we have to pay them back significantly. So the estimate here of the increase of about $20,000 is based on where we were last year and based on the first quarter invoices that have come in to date. So it looks like we're going to be shy about the 20 grand. And then lastly, what was the third one? Oh, it was our assessing contract. So as you know, we passed our assessing contract in the 12th hour of June, just before our fiscal year started, and that was about $15,000 higher than what we originally had been paying for the county, and we knew that at the time. So again, amending that. Some questions that come up are, how do we magically have revenues and expenses equal each other? What you must be making this stuff up, right? The Budget Act is, again, you can't be more than $1 over budget on the expenditure side. So address the expenditure items that we need, and then I circle back on the revenue side and say, and the expenditure side, are there favorable variances that I can adjust there? And that's why the rest of this stuff is just plus and minus, some minor stuff. Then I go up to the revenue side, and then are there favorable things on the revenue side that I can use to offset it? Is it all inclusive? Is it every single thing that is going to be exactly there? It's no. It is, what can I use right now to offset it? So the biggest thing is July 1, our tax bills go out. And July 1, we know exactly how much that is. The only time that changes is when people appeal their taxes. So the March board review and then go to the tax tribunal and that kind of stuff. So we know where it starts, and we have allowances baked in for some of those refunds. So July 1, tax bills went out, and you can see there the amendments to the property tax revenue, about $180,000. We came in about $180,000 better than we estimated. But we know July 1 exactly what that is. So that's where those revenues are there. So while we haven't collected them all, we know that's exactly what went out on the tax bills. And so the only thing that we're not going to get is some possible delinquent personals there. Our district court revenue. So our ticket revenue is, we were staffing shortage and police aren't writing tickets and COVID and you name it or whatever. Our revenues last year ended $20,000 better than anticipated. And through our first quarter, we're still holding at that level. So that's why the $20,000 increase there in the ticket revenues. And the last one, sale of fixed assets. We sold 3 or 4 cars and a sweeper, I believe. And so we've netted $60,000 additional sale of fixed assets through the first quarter, over and above what we had budgeted. So those are the biggest pieces there. So again, nickel and diming to get to offset the expenditures. That's always our goal. Ultimately, we want to amend the budget because, again, we can't be $1 over. And if I can't find the revenues, then I'm bringing you an amendment that says we need to dip into fund balance. But as we sit here today, I think we're comfortable as far as that stuff goes. The other 2 amendments on the rubbish side, we had a rollover of $16,000 worth of equipment. And again, it's offset by some of the revenues. And then our sewer lining, there were significant delays in us getting the invoices. Literally, I think we got the June 30 invoice for $700,000 in end of September, beginning of October is when I got the invoice. And we have a $900,000 contract. So we had to wait to get that one in to figure out how much went to last year, and then there's the balance of that sewer lining contract's $165,000. That's what's rolled over there in the water and sewer fund. That's why it wasn't part of the original rollover budget. So outside of that, simple first quarter, all's good. Minor adjustments, but open to questions.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from council? Any public comment on this agenda item? Seeing, Councilmember Black, I'm sorry. Do you have anything you want to add or question?
Not on this item, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Mitchell, please call the roll on M 10925.
Patterson,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Black,
Yes.
Elrod,
Yes.
Gavin,
Yes.
Hennan,
Yes.
Dean.
Yes, the motion has passed. Ms. Mitchell, please read item number 8 on tonight's regular agenda.
Public hearing, matter of holding a public hearing regarding the Community Development Block Grant Program Year 2026 application and the approximate amount of $97,000.
I'm opening the public hearing at 8:19 PM. Closing it at 8:20. Ms. Mitchell, please read item number 9 on tonight's regular agenda.
Resolution number R 2025, matter of adopting a resolution for the Community Development Block Grant CDBG Program Year 2026 application and the approximate amount of $97,000 and requesting the mayor and city manager to sign the application and submit it to the Oakland County CDBG Division.
Is there a motion to approve R 2025?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilmember Baker
Support.
with support from Mayor Pro Tem Gavin. Mr. Johnson.
So real quick on this, this is our annual application. So the public hearing was on uses of our funds. Historically, we get about $35,000, of which $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 go towards public services, and the rest has gone towards what's the barriers? What do we call those things?
Architectural barriers.
Architectural barriers. Thank you. It's too long. All that fluffy stuff. I don't want to do that stuff. But yeah, we've done that, and it's so hard to spend $30,000 on paving and that kind of stuff. So as you know, we just are finishing up a significant $100,000 project using 3 years worth of CDBG money to do that. So the county has made a wholesale change, and I know we've talked about this before too, but they have now gone to a more of a competitive approach. So they're going to fund the $5,000 or $6,000 for the library books and some of the other items, but the rest of it is now basically going on a project basis where they're going to put us against all the other communities, and whichever projects they like best or scores highest on whatever competitive scale they're going to use, they're going to award it. So we're no longer guaranteed our normal $30,000. So the application here, you see there, hey, we're applying for $90,000. There's zero guarantee that we're going to get that. There's zero guarantee that we can get that maybe in the next 5 years. But we want to continue that program of addressing the architectural barriers to the extent we can. But we are now against other projects, and there's a pot of money, and they're going to decide who gets the pot of money depending on which projects they think deserve the most merit. So we could end up with nothing. We could end up with our entire $95,000, but that's literally the process. The application goes in now, and we won't find out for almost another year of who they pick and what the approved funding level will be, because we're still spending, the previous fiscal years. But this is step one in that process of submitting the application, and then we'll keep you updated after that.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from council? Councilmember Elrod?
Yes. Due to the competitive nature, is there a way to work jointly with some of the other communities? Or can we go in with others if there's a potential joint project?
Yeah, absolutely, yes.
Okay.
The issue was they sprung this on us pretty quickly. So now that we know, then it's okay. What would make the most sense moving forward? So obviously, we're working on these types of projects right now. So short term, that. Long term, hey, what can we possibly do jointly or in a larger scale? Yep.
Councilmember Hennan?
Yeah, since this is the first year, we may not know some of these answers. Do we know how competitive it's going to be?
Well, just like the assessing issue, one step back, we are not a direct recipient, so we don't get our money. We are a sub-recipient of the county. The county receives the funds, and they go from there. What this new methodology has done is made some of the sub-recipients say, I don't like this, I'm gonna go off and be a direct recipient. I'm gonna apply to be a direct recipient and drop out of the program, which ultimately may affect the county's funding, blah, blah, blah. Some say, I know my little $30,000 isn't gonna get funded, so I'm not even gonna apply for it. I'm just gonna save it up for 3 years, and then every 3 years I'll apply for 100,000 and, see if I can get it there. So it's really hard to tell. They're either gonna get $10 million worth of requests for 500,000, or they're going to get, no requests. So we'll have to see how this plays out, and then that'll help us strategically going forward.
Okay. Do we know if they're going to give any partial awards?
They've said it totally depends, on all of the factors you just laid out of who's asking for what and, what they feel might be worthwhile.
Okay. And I think I know the answer to this one based on how they dropped it on us at the last minute again. But, did we tailor our application towards the scoring rubric, or?
I think it was more of our need, and, we tried to conform our need with what we thought we could get approved. So I think the answer is yes, but obviously the timing was tight to be able to do that.
Thank you.
Any public comment on this agenda item? Ms. Mitchell, please call the roll on R 2025.
Baker,
Yes.
Black,
Yes.
Elrod,
Yes.
Gavin,
Yes.
Hennan,
Yes.
Patterson,
Yes.
Dean.
Yes, the resolution has passed. Ms.
I am done tonight. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Yes, we've enjoyed every moment. Ms. Mitchell, please read item number 10 on tonight's regular agenda.
Motion number M 11025, motion to approve the contract extension letter of understanding with the Berkley Police Service Aid Association, Michigan Association of Police.
Is there a motion to approve M 11025? So moved. Motion made by Councilmember Patterson
Support.
with support by Councilmember Baker. Ms. Van Vleck.
Good evening. So Dispatch's 3-year contract is scheduled to expire on June 30th, 2027, in an effort to align their contract timeline with the rest of the collective bargaining agreements in the city, which expire June 30th, 2028. I've been in discussion with the Dispatch Union about a contract extension. Aligning all collective bargaining agreements to the same timeline will allow the city to conduct future contract negotiations simultaneously, which will create greater efficiency, consistency, and parity in the bargaining process. Recruiting and retaining qualified dispatchers continues to be a significant challenge across the public safety sector. The role is uniquely demanding. It requires exceptional communication skills, the ability to remain calm under pressure, and an unwavering commitment to community safety. Dispatchers serve as the first point of contact in emergencies, providing critical information and coordination to our public safety officers. Because of that high level of skill and emotional resilience, finding and training individuals who are both capable and well-suited to this essential work can be quite difficult. Retaining those experienced dispatchers is equally important, as turnover in these positions can impact service continuity, response times, and overall effectiveness in emergency communications. And it can be often hard to retain, as we are all polling in Southeast Michigan at the same pool of people. The importance of their work and the recruitment and retainment of skilled professionals in these roles cannot be emphasized enough. During discussions with the dispatch union regarding the proposed extension, concerns were raised about the existing wage scale. In response, and as part of an extension agreement, the city and the union have agreed to include a one-time wage increase equivalent to, and in addition to the increase scheduled for July 1, 2026, which is 2.5% increase plus a $1,000 adjustment to their base wage. This additional wage increase acknowledges these challenges and reflects the city's commitment to supporting and valuing our dispatch professionals. It will help ensure that our compensation remains competitive within the region and demonstrates the city's dedication to maintaining a strong, stable, and high-performing dispatch team. There will be a minimal impact to the budget in the current fiscal year of roughly $15,000. We do not anticipate a budget adjustment as necessary, as we've endured vacancies in public safety, including a dispatch position, until very recently. And so at this time, we don't think a budget adjustment will be necessary. The specifics of the agreement can be found in the letter of understanding, but I am recommending approval of the contract extension letter. contract extension letter of understanding with the Berkley Police Service Aid Association / Michigan Association of Police, which is our dispatch union.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments from council? Councilmember Baker.
Oh, thank you, Your Honor. Just a comment. I thank you for keeping an eye on these types of things and all the points you made about having it align with all the contracts at the same cycle, I think make a lot of sense. So this is a good idea. I'm very thankful to the union for their willingness to communicate and work with us on this, and I think this is a good thing for them and for the city. Thanks.
Councilmember Black?
I'm good.
Okay. Any public comment on this agenda item? Seeing none, Ms. Mitchell, please call the roll on M-11025.
Black,
Yes.
Elrod,
Yes.
Gavin,
Yes.
Hennan,
Yes.
Patterson,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Dean.
Yes, the motion has passed. Ms. Mitchell, please read item number 11 on tonight's regular agenda.
Motion number M-11125, matter of appointing Mayor Pro Tem from November 2025 until November 2027.
Okay. The floor is open to nominations. If anyone has a name to put forth, I am open to hearing that. Councilmember Hennan.
I would nominate Mayor Pro Tem Ross Gavin to continue in that position.
Thank you.
Support.
Okay. Mayor Pro Tem Gavin,
Sounds good.
you good with that? Okay. I guess call the roll, please.
Elrod,
Yes.
Gavin,
Yes.
Hennan,
Yes.
Patterson,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Black,
Yes.
Dean.
Yes. Congratulations, and thank you for your
Thank you to everyone. Appreciate it.
willingness to serve another couple of years. Ms. Mitchell, please read item number 12 on tonight's regular agenda.
Communications, and we have Mayor Pro Tem Gavin going first.
Oh, wait, so I'm sorry, we're doing communications then. Okay,
Yep.
I'll keep it short and sweet. I know we've got some other stuff to get to, so we'll just say that Parks and Rec will meet on December 11th at 7 p.m. at the Community Center. And the Library Board will meet November 19th at 7 p.m. at the library. And that's all I have.
great. Councilmember Patterson.
The Beautification Advisory Committee met. The luminaries are for sale at the library. There, you can pick them up now, and when you're there, you can check out the new Burkbuster, the new video rental media section. It was fantastic on Friday. Thank the veterans for all of their service during Veterans Day that we celebrated, and happy Thanksgiving to everyone.
Thank you. Councilmember Black.
Nothing tonight, Madam Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Elrod.
Yes, stepping in for Councilmember Villani, former Councilmember Villani. I'm going to begin my liaison with the Environmental Action Committee. The next meeting is this Thursday, 6:30 at Public Safety. They did want me to draw attention to an upcoming clothing drop-off that's being held at the library. This is called Swap Day. It is for adult clothing, not children's clothing. It runs from 12:30 to 1:15 for the drop-off, and then shopping continues till 3 p.m. This is also a time when the library will be doing their own media swap. So 2 for 1.
Great. Thank you. Councilmember Hennan.
Yes, the Zoning and Board of Appeals have no meeting in November. And also wanted to report that Steve Allen has had to resign his seat due to health reasons. The Tree Board met they are reviewing educational opportunities throughout the coming year and preparing their work plan for 2026. Their next meeting is November 24th Monday, November 24th at 7 p.m. in the Public Safety Conference Room. Recently, I've attended the SEMCOG General Assembly, and I've brought back some information on stormwater management, downtown economic growth, and also attended the Oakland County Sustainability Conference. Again, one of the highlights was stormwater management, green infrastructure, solar, and a group of electeds got together, and there looks like there might be some opportunity for food waste collection. I know a lot of people in the city are interested in that, and a lot of other communities were very interested hearing about our cardboard dumpster. And I've already had one community reach out to, how's it work? Where do you get it? So, have that. And then finally, just wanted to thank the people of Berkeley for your trust and support in my reelection, and looking forward to great things that we can accomplish over the next 4 years. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Baker.
Thank you, Your Honor. I too would like to thank the residents for their confidence and trust in me as well, and congratulations to my colleagues, and welcome aboard. And thanks again to Jess for all her years of service. The Berkeley Historical Committee meets tomorrow night, Thursday the 18th at 7 o'clock. BerkeleyHistory.com if you'd like to see what they're up to. Downtown Development Authority DDA Board met last week's Wednesday. All sorts of cool stuff, but out of like 8 bullets, I'll just say it was a terrific Berkeley, just because I wanted to say that one more time. And finally, it was Malala Yousafzai, who once said, there should be no place for fear in the mind of a child. That's been on my mind a lot lately, since many of us here at Council and Planning Commission and ZBA had to go through ALICE training for active assailant. And while that information is absolutely critical, it's something we all need to understand and take seriously. I find it heartbreaking that this has become part of our culture. Kids shouldn't have to practice these drills multiple times a year. Teachers shouldn't have to rehearse scenarios that take them far beyond the jobs they signed up for. And none of us should have to think twice about going to church or a concert or a community event. We're doing the right thing by preparing, but preparation shouldn't be the norm. Safety should be the norm. A sense of ease should be the norm. And I hope we move forward towards a future where these trainings become something that we talk about in the past tense, not a regular part of our civic life. And so please take care of yourselves and hug somebody you love.
Thank you. City Manager Van Vleck.
I just want to thank Councilmember Villani, for her service to the city, but also for her support that she's shown me in the last 11 months. And I'm excited to get to know Councilmember Elrod better, and hopefully work hand in hand with you in everything to come.
Thank you. Attorney Hamame.
Just wanted to update you that we have been working pretty closely with city staff to get up to speed. You are going to be seeing a number of amendment revisions that we'll be proposing, and we'll be bringing it to your attention hopefully soon. I think we're aiming for by the end of the year to clean up a lot of them, so we can start the year off fresh.
Sounds good. Thank you. Congratulations again to my colleagues at the table who were winners in their election, and congratulations, Councilmember Elrod. We're going to keep this rolling and continue to move Berkeley forward in a positive direction. I'd like to thank Senator Gary Peters for thinking of Berkeley when he requested $385,000 to put toward the replacement of Engine 4. The cost of a new fire truck is about $1.1 million. And so how we're going to pay for it is through this money. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll get approved. And budget, appropriations, and then looking at our capital improvement funds. So it's a long-term plan, but I believe that we are on our way. And so while this is good news, we need to, keep our fingers crossed that this minibus passes and we keep moving this forward. So I am optimistic. The latest that I heard was that we're positioned well for this. This past Thursday and Friday, I attended the Mayors and Presidents Institute in Bay City, put on by the Michigan Municipal League, where I was a panel with Fremont Mayor Jim Reinberg and Saginaw Mayor Brenda Moore, and we just discussed our paths to elected office, shared insights and lessons learned, and then discussed challenges ahead. And so it was also some intense learning, and I am grateful for not only that opportunity to learn, but to spend time with my peers from across the state. Last week on November 11th, I attended 2 Veterans Day ceremonies, one at the gazebo and then at the Legion following. And I just want to express my gratitude to those who have served and those who are serving currently. I have a lot of military in my family. My oldest brother was Army, my next brother, Marines. His son, Navy. My youngest brother, Marines, and then he joined the Army. He married a woman who was a Marine. Their daughter is a graduate of West Point. I have a nephew who's in the Coast Guard, an aunt that was in the Navy, and an uncle who was in the Army. Somehow that military gene skipped me, but grateful for their service, and to you, Councilmember Black, for your service. We keep you certainly in our prayers. Last Saturday, I spent a delightful afternoon at Perch, chatting with residents and visitors to Berkeley. And honestly, I thoroughly enjoyed listening to all the great things they have to say about Berkeley, mainly how much they love it here. So we're doing a lot of things right. My next stop on the Mayor's Roadshow is Mug and Jug at 4238 12 Mile, and that's this Friday, November 21st, from 4 to 6 p.m. So I'm going to now ask for Ms. Mitchell to please read item number 12 on tonight's regular agenda.
Closed session, matter of considering convening in closed session to consider attorney-client privilege communication in accordance with the Open Meeting Act, MCL 15.2681H.
Is there a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
Motion made by Councilmember Patterson with support from Mayor Pro Tem Gavin. Ms. Mitchell, please call the roll.
Hennan,
Yes.
Patterson,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Black,
Yes.
Elrod,
Yes.
Gavin,
Yes.
Dean.
Yes, and before we leave, I just want to point out that no action will be taken after the closed session. We'll just come back in to adjourn the meeting. Thank you. Chris, are we good to go?
Got 3 dots.
I mean, we see it up here.
But it was a slide before that said closed session.
Okay, I think we're good to go.
Okay, may I have a motion to move out of closed session?
So moved.
Motion
Support.
made by Councilmember Baker with support from Councilmember Patterson. Do we roll call now? Ms. Mitchell, please call the roll.
Black,
Yes.
Elrod,
Yes.
Gavin,
Yes.
Hennon,
Yes.
Patterson.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Dean.
Yes,
We are now in open session.
we're now in open session and motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Support. Oh, Jesse.
Motion made by Councilmember Patterson with second from Mayor Pro Tem Gavin. Ms. Mitchell, will you please call the roll?
Black,
Yes.
Elrod,
Yes.
Gavin,
Yes.
Hennon,
Yes.
Patterson.
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
Dean.
Yes, the Monday, November 17th, 2025 meeting of the Berkeley City Council is adjourned.
Weird.
Our office is out of Royal Oak. However,